Hello and welcome to the big story. 4 months before the Bihar state elections, the Election Commission of India (ECI) has kicked off a special intensive revision of the electoral rolls in the state. The exercise aims of the SIR are to ensure that no eligible citizen is left out while no ineligible person is included in the electoral roll. The enumeration drive, which began on July 1st, will see the draft electoral roll published on August 1st and the final roll on September 30th after the disposal of claims and objections. And this led to a huge protest by the opposition in the parliament and the Bihar assembly. And now, Tejaswi Yadav even calls for the polls boycott. This is purely advantage BJP. NDA calls this move as acceptance of defeat before the poll bell. And this is the big story of the day. The Election Commission of India's ongoing SIR Special Intensive Revision of Electoral Rolls in Bihar has triggered fears of mass disenfranchisement. Officially, it's an exercise to ensure a clean and updated voter list. In reality, it bears all the hallmarks of an exclusionary, poorly justified, and potentially unconstitutional operation, one that echoes the trauma of the National Register of Citizens (NRC) in Assam, which left nearly 2 million people, including Muslims, Dalits, women, and the poor, starting at statelessness. As protests continue both inside Parliament and the Bihar Assembly over the revision of the voters list in Bihar, and demonstrations intensify outside, the Election Commission has once again defended the exercise and its timing, asserting that a purified voters list is the foundation of the free and fair elections and a strong democracy. But the opposition is not at all agreeing for this. Congress Parliamentary Party Chairperson MP Sonia Gandhi today joined the opposition's protest outside the parliamentary against the SIR exercise being carried out by the Election Commission of India ahead of the Bihar Assembly elections. The India bloc is demanding a rollback of the SIR exercise, alleging that it could lead to disenfranchisement of marginalized communities.
जब इसके है ECI का यानी कि बिहार में विरोध किया जा रहा है और देखिए यहाँ पे तमाम सांसद चाहे वो जो है उद्धव की कांग्रेस के सांसदों की बात किया है
What makes the SIR the alarming is its scale and intent. Over 4.76 crore people, those born after 1987 and not found on the 2003 voter rolls, are now being asked to prove the citizenship. Within an impossibly short timeline, they must produce documentary evidence from a limited and often inaccessible list. Many among them are young, landless, migrant, or illiterate. Precisely the categories most likely to be left out due to bureaucratic hurdles and documentation gaps. At its core, the SIR seems to invert the constitutional principle that every adult Indian citizen has the right to vote unless proven otherwise. The burden of proof has shifted unjustifiably onto ordinary citizens. Aadhaar, ironically mandated in many government services, is deemed insufficient, while documents like school certificates, land records, and ancestral birth proofs are demanded. This creates an upper caste property owning and document rich bias that penalizes the historically marginalized. Critics have rightly pointed out this mirrors a 19th century suffrage regime, one where only the educated and property owners were considered fit to vote. In today's democratic India, such retrograde logic violates the very idea of universal adult franchise. And so, today, many parts of the India, the student unions who are inclined to the opposition parties have staged protests. A rapid assessment survey by civil society groups across 8 districts of Bihar found that the majority of the affected households received no official notice, were unaware of criteria, and lacked even a single accepted document. That result is widespread confusion, fear, and distrust, especially among Dalits, Muslims, and women. Even worse, the process appears non-transparent and selective. There are no publicized criteria for identifying names for deletion, and local officials operate without proper guidelines or training. Affected citizens have little time to file objections or access legal remedy, raising fundamental questions about the due process. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court of India, despite multiple petitions challenging the legality and discriminatory nature of SIR, has not yet granted relief or a stay. This silence is troubling, especially given the court's own warnings in earlier rulings about the mass voter deletions and need for procedural safeguards. Citing all this, RJD leader and Bihar opposition leader Tejaswi Yadav indicated that the Mahagathbandhan alliance might consider boycotting the upcoming state elections. He expressed concern over the special intensive revision of electoral rolls, alleging that the process was manipulated to favor the ruling NDA. Yadav stated that the option of boycotting the polls was on the table and would be discussed with the alliance partners and the public before making the final decision.
भाई जब 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 एक बात स्पष्ट है, सब कुछ तय हो ही गया है कि भाई बेईमानी करना ही है, खुलेआम बेईमानी करना है, वोटर लिस्ट से लाखों का नाम काट देना है और यही लाखों वोटर जो थे मोदी जी को वोट दिया, कई सरकारें चुनी, तब ठीक था। अब ये अचानक से गड़बड़ कहां से हो गया, यही तो सवाल पूछा जा रहा है। यानी सरकार के लोग आज खुद ही कह रहे थे कि भाई हम फर्जी चुन करके आए हैं और फिर से फर्जी चुन करके आएंगे। तो जब बेईमानी करना है तो हम लोग इस पे विचार कर सकते हैं बॉयकॉट करने का।
दूसरे पार्टियों से भी आप बात कीजिएगा, दूसरे नेताओं से?
हम सब दल के लोगों से बात करेंगे। महागठबंधन चुनाव का क्या मतलब रहेगा जब लोकतंत्र में जनता ही वोट नहीं देगी, चंडीगढ़ जैसा तुम लोग काम करोगे तो क्या मतलब रह जाएगा। तो हम लोग इस पे गंभीर होकर के चुनाव बहिष्कार पर चर्चा हम लोग कर सकते हैं, ये विकल्प हमारे पास खुला है।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सुनवाई है
तो होगा तो उसमें भी हम लोग पक्ष रखेंगे। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने फटकार लगाया, इसके बारे में तो नहीं कहा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आधार का सलाह दिया, इसके बारे में सरकार में विजय चौधरी वगैरह क्यों नहीं बोले कुछ? क्योंकि छुपाना है, बचाना है चुनाव आयोग को। मिले हुए लोग हैं ये लोग।
थैंक यू।
और अभी असली खेला तो 1 अगस्त के बाद ये लोग करेंगे।
बहिष्कार को लेकर जो चर्चा है
भाई जब
Make no mistake, this is not just a bureaucratic error or a well-maintained or well-intentioned cleanup. It is a political project, carefully timed and methodically implemented. The Muslim community, already marked decades of suspicion and institutional exclusion, find itself once again in the crosshairs. The message is clear: electoral agency for the Muslims and other marginalized groups can be put on trial at any time. They must repeatedly prove loyalty, identity and belonging under shifting goalposts and ever shorter deadlines. Frankly speaking, the reason could be one particular thing, that is the mass migration from the Bangladesh, and this particular thing is being cited as the source for the SIR or the reason to implement the NRC. The ruling party is having its own terminologies, its own defense mechanisms. Yes, the mass migration from the countries like Bangladesh or Nepal and they getting settled here in the states of West Bengal and Assam and slowly getting migrated to other states is happening for quite long time. And unfortunately, they are getting the voters IDs, they are getting the Aadhaar cards, and now because of the same thing, now Aadhaar card is termed as insufficient. But this is very much ironical. On one hand, Aadhaar card is the source to get any government benefit. Aadhaar card is something like a local passport when you stay in India. Aadhaar card is the proof of citizenship, but the same Aadhaar card now it is getting insufficient to vote. Means how Aadhaar card is insufficient to vote. On the other hand, repeatedly in many parliament sessions, there was a debate why not link the Aadhaar card with the voter card so that the duplication of the votes can be avoided. But instead, since the implementation of the Aadhaar card, this particular thing has not been implemented. The political motive is very much clear. Aadhaar PAN is linked for getting a passport. Now Aadhaar is almost mandatory, but Aadhaar voter card linking is not done. One precise thing that can happen is, why not the cancellation of the voter card, and why not vote can be done only with the help of Aadhaar card. Even that is not getting implemented. And now Aadhaar card is not at all sufficient to prove the citizenship according to SIR. Officials from Assam have told the Election Commission that since it is the only state to have already carried out the exercise of preparing NRC, this should be factored in whenever the poll panel frames its timelines and decides the list of eligibility document for the state special intensive revision of electoral rolls. Citing all this, today an interesting thing has happened that the Lok Sabha leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, strongly criticized the Election Commission over its special intensive revision SIR of the electoral rolls in Bihar. He accused the poll body of orchestrating voter manipulation and declared that the opposition would not remain silent. Rahul Gandhi warned the EC that if it is believed it could evade accountability, it was mistaken, asserting that the India bloc would confront the commission over what he described as election theft.
मैंने जो कल बोला था जी देखिए ये बहुत सीरियस मैटर है इलेक्शन कमीशन इज नॉट फंक्शनिंग एज द इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया टुडे दे मेड सम स्टेटमेंट दिस इज कंप्लीट नॉनसेंस right the fact of the matter is that election commission is not doing its job now we have concrete 100% proof of election commission allowing cheating in a seat in Karnataka not 90%. When we decide to show it to you, it is 100% proof. Okay? And we just looked at one constituency and we found this. And I'm absolutely convinced that constituency after constituency, this is the drama that is taking place. Okay? Thousands and thousands of new voters. New voters. How old are they? 50, 45, 60, 65. New voters. Thousands and thousands and thousands one constituency.
Karnataka ki
yes, and this is one thing, right? Voter deletion, voter addition, new voters who are 18, who are way above 18. So we have caught them. Okay, and I want to send a message to Election Commission.
Yes, sir.
If you think you're going to get away with this, if your officers think you're going to get away with this, you're mistaken. You're not going to get away with it because we are going to come for you.
क्या चुनाव का बहिष्कार
Sources in the Assam government said that since the EC is also looking at the citizenship aspect to determine the eligibility for inclusion in the electoral roll, and given that Assam has already undertaken a citizenship verification exercise, the NRC, once published, can serve as one of the admissible documents for the SIR. Hence the state's request. This comes even as opposition parties have alleged that the Bihar SIR has become a de facto citizenship verifying exercise NRC through the back door, and that's not within the purview of the poll panel. Assam's request learned to have been made after the Commission's announcement last month of a nationwide intensive revision of the electoral roll starting with Bihar, if accepted, could effectively mean a delay in the state's SIR. Bihar Assembly erupted into heated exchanges last day over this SIR of voter rolls, a drive that had stirred controversy ahead of the state elections. The debate turned dramatic when Chief Minister Nitish Kumar stood up to interrupt the leader of the opposition Tejaswi Yadav, launching into a scathing attack on RJD, a party with once allied with. Nitish questioned the legacy of Tejaswi's parents, former Chief Ministers Lalu Prasad Yadav, Rabdi Devi, and accused RJD of failing the state during their tenure. He emphasized that his current alliance with the BJP has remained stable and that the central government was backing Bihar's development. But these things, frankly speaking, as if they are irrelevant. He just used a very strong word against the leader of opposition, saying, "You were a child then."
अब बात यह है कि आज का दिन पहले क्या है, सब लोगों को अपना अपना जो देता है तो उसी को न सुनने का समय है। तो अरे सुनो ना पहले, पहले तो थे ना,
ये तरीका होगा तो नहीं होगा बोलने के लिए, किसी को नहीं दिया जाएगा।
अब बात ही बोल रहा है, अरे काहे के लिए बोल रहे हो? जब उम्र तुम्हारा कम था, तुम्हारे पिताजी 7 साल मंत्री थे और उसके बाद तुम्हारी माता 7 फिर मंत्री रही, आज तुम मुख्यमंत्री रहे, और उसके बाद क्या उस समय की स्थिति है? अगर चाहोगे तो पहले क्या था और उसके बाद से जब 20 साल हुआ, हम तो 9 महीना नहीं भी रहे, हमने दूसरे को दे दिया, और सारा का सारा बीच में 1.5 साल आप लोगों को भी किया, लेकिन आप लोग भी ठीक नहीं कर रहे थे तो छोड़ दिया। अब हम लोग जो साथ में रहे शुरू से, अब उन्हीं के साथ सब दिन रहेंगे। अब ये सब जो बोलते रहता है, आप बताइए, तो जब भी इन लोगों का कोई काम आता है, आई बोलते हैं तो इन लोगों के हित में हम काम करते हैं। तो ये सब काम सुनिए, अरे ये सब चीज बोलने का क्या मतलब है? अरे आप तो आज तो तीसरा दिन है, 2 ही दिन और 3 ही दिन है, इसके बाद तो चुनाव होने वाला है। तो चुनाव होगा तो पूरे देश के लोग सोचेंगे कि क्या करना है, और हम लोगों ने कितना काम शुरू से किया है। क्या था वो ये बजट? अरे सुनो, हम बता रहे हैं, सुनो। अरे पहले का बजट आपका क्या था और कितना ज्यादा हम लोगों ने सबके लिए किया है? आज 3 लाख से भी ज्यादा। और केंद्र सरकार ने भी, सुनिए, केंद्र सरकार ने भी काफी मदद कर रही है, और मिलकर के बिहार में जो चीज की कोई कमी थी, हम लोग चारों तरफ घूम करके देखे हैं, और जहां कोई कमी थी उसको भी कर दिया, और एक एक काम हम लोग कर रहे हैं। अब बात
The implications go far beyond Bihar, with elections in several years approaching. A staggering number of lives could be subjected to arbitrary scrutiny, disenfranchisement, and denial of basic democratic rights. SIR may become a nationwide mechanism, moving from state to state, systematically reshaping the electoral landscape. States ruled by the non-BJP parties must wake up. Many believe their political control makes them immune, but unless they enact state-level legislative and legal safeguards, they risk sleepwalking into the same trap. Frankly speaking, this particular measure, what I just mentioned just now, that the states under non-BJP government must wake up, yes, this is 100% legitimate, but the BJP ruled states also should not be blindly following the exercise that is carried by the central government. Why? Because every state's demographic changes from one area to another area. The history is different from one to another. So, a nationwide common minimum guidelines might not be suitable to implement the SRC or the NRC, provided they are not thoroughly studied demography of that particular state. So, there should be a very thorough study of each and every state, and this particular measures should be implemented. The SIR or the NRC or the CAA, frankly speaking, these are not totally a ban. They are for the benefit of the Indians. Government is repeatedly assuring that no Indian citizen will be harmed by this. But we have to recollect few things, that there were even the army people who served, who fought for India in the wars of 1971, even the Kargil war, and couple of Jawans of 1965 also could not be providing the enough documents which are suitable by the guidelines of the NRC, and they were not able to fulfill the category of the NRC. Is that the tribute what we are giving to our own soldiers? That is the question mark. Yes, anything, be it the CAA or be it the SIR or be it the NRC, they are for the Indian citizens, but without a proper study, implementation is a very wrong thing. In the case of Bihar, why this particular exercise started just 4 months before, and why this is getting started from Bihar only, not with any other state? Because after Modi 3.0, several states, including the major states like Maharashtra, where most of the people are migrants, why it is not implemented then? To some extent, opposition is still raising the questions that partly this particular exercise is also implemented in the Maharashtra elections, which the ruling party is denying since the beginning. Why this is not implemented in any other state? Why only Bihar is one particular question. On the other hand, emergency measures such as the passing voter protection laws, monitoring deletion patterns, and creating grievance redressal platforms must begin now, not for the damage is already done. Encouragingly, citizens in Bihar are being to respond. Rallies, as we have already seen, protests already happened, but this is only to one particular politically party inclined groups, be it the student groups or be it the political groups. From the normal citizens or from the neutral citizens, the voice is frankly speaking not yet getting raised. Why? Because should we understand that those who are not protesting are blind supporters of the NDA or the BJP? We cannot say that. And All India Muslim Personal Law Board appears either defunct or reduced to a platform for personal politics. This is a very interesting thing that we are seeing nowadays, especially after the Waqf is introduced. Amongst all these things, the RJD leader, former Bihar Chief Minister Rabri Devi, spearheaded a protest outside the Bihar Legislative Council against the Election Commission's SIR of electoral rolls. Dressed in black saris, Rabri Devi and other opposition MLAs staged a symbolic demonstration accusing the centre and state government of orchestrating voter disenfranchisement.
नहीं चलेगा SIR वापस लो वोट बंदी नहीं चलेगा नहीं सहेंगे वोट हड़पने की साजिश नहीं चलेगी दलित गरीबों के वोट हड़पने की साजिश नहीं चलेगी
वोट हड़पना बंद करो संविधान के गला घोटना बंद करो तानाशाही की सरकार
संविधान पे हमला बंद करो संविधान पे हमला बंद करो
आधार कार्ड वोट बंदी नहीं चलेगी वोट बंदी नहीं चलेगी SIR वापस लो गरीब दलितों वंचितों को वोट से बंद नहीं चलेगा SIR वापस लो वोट बंदी नहीं चलेगा नहीं सहेंगे वोट हड़पने की साजिश नहीं चलेगी
During the monsoon session of the Bihar Assembly, leader of the opposition RJD leader Tejaswi Yadav raised concerns over the integrity of the upcoming elections, emphasizing that the people's right to vote must not be compromised. Referring to recent developments, he said that the incident that occurred in the previous day was troubling and urged accountability from all sides. Yadav questioned the Election Commission's authority in determining the nationality, citing its Supreme Court affidavit, which made no mention of Nepal, Myanmar or Bangladesh. He argued that the government's claims about the infiltrations were self-contradictory and politically motivated. Yadav also stated that if he had made any mistakes over the past 5 years, he was willing to apologize. He noted that the JDU MPs and even TDP leader Chandrababu Naidu had expressed support for the opposition's stance on the issue.
अध्यक्ष महोदय, आपको हम धन्यवाद देना चाहेंगे।